What if I told you one of the most innovative original Nintendo games of the late 80s had no jump button, but was still a masterpiece of platforming and action? Today we're diving deep into the Bionic past, with Bionic Commando on the Nintendo Entertainment System. From its Japanese origins to its unique mechanics, forgotten sequels, there's a lot more to this game than most people remember. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our deep dives into gaming history. Bionic Commando was developed and published by Capcom, one of the most influential game developers of the 80s and 90s. Before Bionic Commando, Capcom had already made a name for themselves with arcade hits like 1942, Commando, and Ghosts and Goblins. In fact, Commando played a direct role in the creation of Bionic Commando. The game was seen as a sort of spiritual successor, expanding on the military action theme, but bringing something radically new to the table, the bionic arm grappling mechanic. This decision came from producer Tokuro Fujiwara, who also worked on Ghosts and Goblins, and later created Mega Man. Fujiwara believed that adding a bionic arm for swinging instead of jumping would force players to think differently about navigation and combat, and he was right. It turned what could have been just another run and gun into a cult classic that rewarded precision, timing, and strategy. While many Western gamers know the original Nintendo version, released in 1988, few realize that the game originated as an arcade title in 1987 called Top Secret, Hitler no Fukatsu, Hitler's Resurrection, in Japan. The Japanese Famicom version of Bionic Commando, known as Top Secret, The Resurrection of Hitler, was more graphically violent and controversial. In fact, the final boss is a resurrected Adolf Hitler, who explodes in graphic detail, a scene heavily censored in the NES version, where the villain was renamed Master D, and given a mustache tweak to avoid obvious references. The Famicom version also featured a slightly different intro sequence, more detailed cutscenes, and a few extra dialogue tweaks that were removed or toned down for the American release. These differences contribute to the cult status of the Famicom version among collectors and retro gamers. The standout feature of Bionic Commando is, of course, the bionic arm. Unlike virtually every other platformer of the time, you couldn't jump. Instead, your arm acted like a grappling hook, letting you swing across gaps, pull yourself up ledges, and snag items. This mechanic added an entirely new kind of challenge and made the game stand out in a sea of Super Mario Bros. Clones. While the gameplay was unique for its time, you can draw comparisons to more modern titles, like Shadow Complex or even Titanfall 2's grappling hook movement. And more recently, games like Celeste have shown that platformers can still innovate by subverting basic expectations like jumping and climbing. Bionic Commando walked so that these games could run, or rather, swing. Even back then, the game was often compared to Metroid and Contra for its non-linear map system and run-and-gun action. But the puzzle-like nature of navigation made it something entirely its own. Many fans don't realize that Bionic Commando is part of a series. After the original Nintendo and arcade versions, the franchise saw multiple sequels and spin-offs. There was Bionic Commando, Elite Forces on the Game Boy Color in 1999, developed by Nintendo Software Technology. Then came the 2008 Bionic Commando Rearmed for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. a critically acclaimed remake of the original Nintendo version that stayed true to the original while updating the visuals and gameplay. That remake was followed by a 2009 3D reboot of the franchise simply titled Bionic Commando. This one attempted to bring the grappling mechanics into a modern third-person action setting. It received mixed reviews, but was praised for its commitment to the swinging mechanic. In that version, the bionic arm was revealed to contain the consciousness of the protagonist's deceased wife, one of the strangest plot twists in gaming history.
Relay Station 21 has been activated in Sector Echo 9er. Do we have a signal? Over.
Bionic Commando for NES sold over 1.2 million copies worldwide, making it one of Capcom's stronger performing original Nintendo titles. While not quite on the level of Mega Man or Street Fighter, it became a cult hit and earned praise for its innovation, music, and difficulty. Reviews at the time called it challenging but rewarding, and lauded the arm mechanic as revolutionary. Its lasting legacy is felt in how developers continue to experiment with movement systems and platformers. Capcom even reused some of the tech and design principles when working on other titles, and the game's composer, Harumi Fujita, would go on to score music for Final Fight and Strider. Thanks so much for swinging by for this look into the history of Bionic Commando. If you enjoyed learning about this unique Nintendo classic, do us a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We've got tons more retro game history coming your way. Let us know in the comments, what other games would you like us to cover next? Maybe something obscure, or maybe a classic you think deserves more attention. And if you want to keep watching, go ahead and click one of the videos you see on screen right now. There's always more gaming history waiting to be explored, right here on the channel.